Hey everyone, Rico Reviews here. Time for my The Good Doctor recap. So to recap on tonight's episode, Sean couldn't sleep because of this dripping faucet, and I wouldn't be able to sleep either if the faucet kept dripping like that. But the noise was becoming that too much that he called the president of the hospital to come and help him, and the president basically was like yelling at Sean, saying that you need to stop this, you need to knock it off and everything, because he was telling Sean that, there's a landlord that can help fix these things for you. So Sean, wants to make a list. He has to make a list, to make himself feel better about what needs done around there. And the doctor's saying, stop, like, you need to just knock it off. And for someone who's supposed to be Sean's biggest supporter, he wasn't really his biggest supporter tonight, in a way. And to be honest, I'd be a little bit annoyed too with the faucet dripping like that. And Sean was having a hard time finding his screwdriver. That was another thing too. So he actually found his screwdriver then. But yeah, it was just amazing to me that we've seen the last couple episodes that the president of the hospital is supposed to be his biggest supporter, but he wasn't tonight, and I'll get to that later. Sean took what the president said literally. The president said that you can go to the landlord anytime. Well, Sean goes to the landlord at 12 a.m., and I think if somebody was knocking on the door at 12 a.m., you'd be a little bit annoyed by that. But the landlord seemed like he was just a major ass in general. He wasn't very accommodating at all, and didn't want Sean knocking on his door, but he decided that he was already there, woke him up, so he took Sean's list. And when Sean got home the next day, he saw that everything was fixed, and he actually went next door to thank the landlord. Again, it was at a pretty inconvenient hour, but Sean didn't know that. And apparently the landlord fixed the sink too well, because Sean, he didn't like the sink dripping like it was, but he wanted it, I guess, dripping at the certain tone he wants. But the landlord actually threatened him and said that if you come knocking on my door again after 5 p.m., I'm gonna kick your teeth in. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? This guy's such an asshole. The only other person that is just as big an ass as Melendez. He is basically punishing Sean for being right. We see that Sean can clearly do his job good, probably better than Melendez can, but Melendez doesn't accept the fact that Sean has autism, that he has somebody with autism on his team. So when Sean's late, he actually punishes Sean and the girl, I think her name is Jessica, because Jessica always sticks up for Sean, and on the resident team, probably his only ally. So she sticks up for him, so she gets punished also. And I just think it's ridiculous. Like, Melendez seems to always go out of his way to make Sean's job more difficult. I think at some point or another he's going to frame Sean for something Melendez did wrong, but he's going to blame it on Sean, so then that way Sean will get fired. But yeah, we all have that one person that's ignorant and just wants to make your life more difficult. And thank goodness Sean has other people around him that aren't like Melendez, because he just seems like he's prejudiced and he's just plain ignorant in general. I mean, we heard him say in one of the last couple episodes that he doesn't want Sean on because he has autism, so he doesn't believe in him, and he doesn't care if he's right or wrong. He won't listen to him, and his ignorance is could potentially cost people their lives. So there were two patients in tonight's episode. One was this lady with a complicated pregnancy, and Sean was right at first how to treat this lady, but of course Melendez didn't want to hear that, so that's when he punished Sean. But she has this condition where she has blood clots and the baby has a tumor. And in order to remove the tumor, it would potentially cost the mother her life. But if they don't do anything, both the mother and the baby will die. But then with her blood clot disorder, if they take the tumor, if they remove the tumor from the baby, the mother could potentially die, but then they have another option to terminate the pregnancy. Obviously, the baby would die then. So they're wondering what they want to do, and the mother wants to save the baby. She has had 3 miscarriages in the past, and with her blood clot disorder, this is probably her only and last chance to have a child. So Melendez is all on board, and he gets the board on board to go ahead with this complicated procedure. And the first time they tried it didn't work. She actually had a heart attack on the table, so now it makes this complicated procedure more risky, because if they put her on the table again, she's at risk for a second heart attack, which will definitely kill her. So Melendez feels like he has no choice but to terminate the pregnancy. When one of the residents on the team actually says that there's another way, they can stop her heart while she's on the table. So, I mean, if her heart stopped, she can't have a heart attack. And sure enough, that way actually works. So they actually save both the mother and the baby's life. And see, I feel like no matter how intimidating Melendez is, and no matter how intimidating anybody is, you have to be able to speak up, because had he not spoken up to Melendez and stood up for what he knew was right, both the mother and baby could have lost their lives. And the other patient was the one with that Sean had to lance the boil from. She's 18 and apparently does porn. And apparently it got more complicated than just simply lancing a boil. They were wondering why she has to get tested for STDs every 30 days, and it's because she does porn. And because of the choices she made, I believe that's what they said in the episode, or she was implying, the patient was implying the choices she made. The boil is in such a spot that on a nerve that if they remove it, she won't be able to have any feeling in her genitals. And she's hurt, but she's also embarrassed by that, because Jessica wants her parents to be there. I mean, their kid's in the hospital, but the teen's mortified. She doesn't want her parents to know that she does porn. So Sean actually comes up with another way that they still have to do the procedure, but they could do it a different way, that she would lose feeling in her thigh instead of her genitals. So for her, that's a better, I guess for her, that's what she preferred. So it all worked out. And because it was such a good day for the team, the guy who saved the life of the pregnant mother, he wanted to go out for drinks to celebrate. And Sean was a bit hesitant at first, as anybody with autism is going in that type of social situation. And he actually does accept his offer and goes out for drinks with them. So I think it was nice that, they're all, with the exception of Mendez, they're warming up to Sean and saying, like, hey, this guy's just like me and you. We can totally hang out with this guy. But what I didn't like was what I mentioned before, how the president wasn't on Sean's side. He automatically thought that Sean couldn't handle living on his own, so he said to him that he could probably use an aide to help him around, and Sean doesn't want that, and I don't think Sean needs it. I mean, he had an issue that came up in his house, and he handled it. He went to the landlord, and what he didn't like what the landlord did, he fixed it himself. He doesn't need an aide. I don't think he should be forcing one on Sean, because we saw that the president was looking at his computer I guess, researching different aids. So he shouldn't be forcing one on Sean, especially if the fact that Sean told him multiple times he doesn't want one and he doesn't need one. That is Sean's decision to make. He's fully capable to make his own decisions, so he shouldn't need one. And that's the last thing that Sean needs, is for people to judge him more. I mean, they'll see that he has an aid and they'll automatically think that he can't do anything. I'm sure that's what Melendez would love. But we also saw how cruel people can be. We saw Sean and his brother. They were, I guess, curious teenagers, and I guess Sean's brother had a friend who got these porn magazines from her father, and I don't think Sean was curious about porn per se. He was curious just about girls, and the girl was saying that Sean's cute, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's nice that she has a crush on Sean. She's seeing him for who he is. But then my intuition kicked in, and I'm like, she doesn't seem like who she doesn't seem like who she appears to be. So Sean and her go behind a bush, and she says to Sean that she thinks he's really cute, and says that she'll show her hers if he shows her if he shows her his, she'll show him hers. And Sean's confused by this. So he says, "Can I just kiss you?" And basically the girl wants Sean to drop his pants to humiliate him in front of everyone, and that was her intention. We saw this group of kids circling around and pointing and laughing at him. Sean didn't drop his pants or anything. He just wanted to kiss her, but he was going to walk away when she said no. But then the girl made it look like that he was about to drop his pants, so she embarrassed and humiliated him in front of everyone, and it just shows how cool people can be. It was really sickening to see somebody treat someone like that. But as you see what Sean goes through in his work, he goes through ignorance on a daily basis. But he doesn't seem to let him bother him. He always goes on with his job and does a great job. So I know for me, like, there's always ignorant people out there. I try personally not to listen to that, and I try to go on with my day, and I try to do what I'm passionate in. Sean is passionate about and his talents are in the medical field. Mine is in the writing field. So when somebody's ignorant to me or is cruel to me, I just write. I just write away, and I know that I'm fully capable of doing things that others think I can't do. And I think writing is my way to not only express myself, but to showcase my talents and show others that I'm more than just autism. That I am not my disability. I'm me. So yeah, this series is just phenomenal. It amazes me. This is probably the best drama I've seen all year. It's truly groundbreaking. If you guys want to check out The Good Doctor, it is on Mondays, 10 p.m. on ABC. Until next time, stay regal.